Hey, welcome to High School Game Day here, presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks and the Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Certainly glad you tuned in. And as always, the Missouri State Highway Patrol reminds us to take that 3 seconds and buckle up. It's 3 seconds that could save your life. Be safe, be smart, and be here tomorrow. Going down to Nixa High School, home of the NIT, the Nixa Invitational Tournament on the women's side. And tournament director and head coach of the Nixa Lady Eagles, Jennifer Perryman, alongside. And Coach Perryman got to watch a little bit of the games last night, some great games last night in the first round.
Yeah, we knew the every round matchup was going to be really good. So we had two overtime games on the other side of the bracket, and then our side, our game was a little bit lopsided because they're struggling with some COVID issues. But then the other game with between Park Hill South and Webster Groves ended up being a 1 point game. So some really good competition, some high level players, some great coaching. It's good to see that type of basketball in your own gym.
And it's kind of nice to get to see those teams. Webster Groves coming into St. Louis. You got Park Hill South. You've got Cape Girardeau, Notre Dame coming up, who's had a very good history and some good runs here recently. Then you get a conference school like Republic. Kind
Yeah.
of good to kind of see them. Maybe a great scouting opportunity to look as you look around the state.
Yeah, we actually haven't seen much of Republic this year. I mean, we're usually pretty familiar, but they were on the other side of the bracket in the pink and white. So last night was the first time I got to see him live. And although, we're familiar with Kamen Beckemeyer and some of those guards they have, it was good to just kind of see him and get, be able to watch him live, as well as West Plains. Our game last week with them was postponed for snow. So it's actually rescheduled for next Saturday. So another good opportunity to scout two opponents that we're going to play.
Right, and just some very good teams here in Southwest Missouri. If you get out of this area, no matter what your class is, you're going to have to go through some big dogs as you look at the likes of the Nixa Lady Eagles, Kickapoo, West Plains is very good as well. And then you've got even lower levels. You've got Straffords and the Skylines and the Millers and El Dorado Springs. There's just really good women's basketball being played here in Southwest Missouri.
Well, and if you look at the state rankings that came out, 5 of our 8 teams in the tournament are in the top 5 for Class 4 and 5, and then you've got Republic, who's ranked 10 in Class 6, and then you've got Norfolk, Arkansas, who's ranked number 1 in Class 1 there, and they are a phenomenal young team. They're all sophomores and juniors, and that is a heck of a Class 1 school. So we're really proud that they are in our tournament.
As you look at what's coming up here in the near future, kind of give us a preview of some of the games that are going to take place tonight. I know you guys start at 4 o'clock, and you've got that Park Hill South team taking on that Carnahan Prep that is suffering with just lack of numbers based on situations out of their control. And
Yeah.
at that 5:30, you've got a Norfolk, Arkansas, who took a very good West Plains team to overtime taking on Republic. What are your expectations there?
Man, that's going to be a battle. I wouldn't be shocked if there was another overtime, couple overtime games tonight. So I know Republic was down last night. They did not have the two sisters, the two little guards that play. They were out with sickness. I don't know if they'll be back. They were hoping they'd be back tonight. Obviously, that will help them kind of keep up with Norfolk's speed. But it'll be a battle either way. And then you've got us and Webster Groves, who that's the first time we're ever going to play them. So, they're coming off a state title run last year. They played Incarnate Word in the state finals. And so they have a tremendous coaching staff. I mean, they've got Jay Blossom sitting over there on their bench as an assistant. And so they are very well coached, very disciplined. And then you've got West Plains and Cape Notre Dame and West Plains, which is going to be a phenomenal matchup. I'm looking forward to watching Ashton Judd and the Rubel kid go at it. I think those are two really high level basketball players, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah, just some great kids in the great players, I should say, in the tournament. With you mentioned those two, and then you've got Kamen Beckemeyer, MSU commit, and the Nixa Lady Eagles are just full of kids on your roster. Tell us a little bit about your team. What are some things you feel like you're doing well right now as you get to you're probably 2/3 of the way through the season, maybe 10 games, regular season games remaining before you head into districts. What are some things you're happy with right now that you're doing?
I'm happy with our just team chemistry on the floor. It's we work well together. I'm happy with our execution. We've been able to get up and down and our game plan, what we're trying to do, our kids are executing. Our three seniors have been phenomenal, just leaders in our style of play and what we want to do. And Nora Clark is really coming into her own. The more confidence she gets, she's a force to be reckoned with, and just what an incredible athlete. So our balanced scoring is really helping us quite a bit. I'm happy with some of the stuff that some of the kids are coming off the bench. We're looking for a little bit more of that. We're looking for a little bit more of our depth. So the more confidence those kids coming off the bench get, I think the better we're going to be. So I love our style of play. We've got tremendous kids. The work ethic they've got. We've got three seniors that are going to Division II schools themselves. Macy and Allie have, signed with Rockhurst, and Maria's signed with Drury, and so we've got some pretty special kids on our group as well. So we're looking to take that next step, with some consistency in the mindset, and just keep pushing forward. We learned some really good lessons Monday in a tough battle that. I think that just kind of refocused us. Sometimes in January is a grind. And I told them, I said, some of our toughest games are in January. When that grind of the season hits and people are sick and they're tired and it's cold and there's no breaks in school. I mean, you got to push through. And I think they're learning how to do that. And I think that's going to prepare us. This tournament is extremely difficult. And I think this tournament is going to prepare us for our district of death, as everyone calls it. So I love that this is a high level tournament. I love that we're going to be challenged the next two nights, no matter who we play. And I think that's going to prepare us for that district tournament better than any other tournament could have.
How important is depth right now? You took a trip, you went on a trip to play outside of the state. You come back, you've got the pink and white. Now you've got the drudges of January. How important is the depth play a role?
Well, it's going to be extremely important because it's you never know with what we're still dealing with COVID and then the flu and strep, and you see schools shutting down like crazy because sickness is spreading. So we've got to be ready. I mean, when we practice, everyone's getting those reps, those varsity reps, because literally from day to day, you hope you have your core group, but you just don't know, and so it's kind of like next man up. And we've seen several schools where people were injured or sick, and it may or may not have cost them a game because they didn't have them. So we're going to try to prevent that, and we're going to try to keep everyone ready. So we've got a mentality that our depth is going to take us as far as we want to go. So hopefully that buy-in continues, and we can get that from them.
Yeah, not to mention, obviously, you get these 3 days here at home, and that's got to be great for the kids to, kind of regenerate their body system, so to speak. But then you go on the road for three, and you're at a Jeff City, you're at West Plains, and that's not an easy trip either. And then of course you've got Ozark, which is just a hop and a skip and a jump over. But three road games next week.
Yeah, I mean, if you want a break in our schedule with either travel or competition, you're going to have to look in April because it's not in the next few months. So, we want to challenge our kids, and our kids like to travel, and I struggle getting home games. So I thought, well, heck, let's just have a tournament. Maybe I can get three there. So it's been good. We're glad to be at home. We have been all over the place, and our schedule it always rivals other people's schedules for as far as strength of schedule. That's something that we're kind of proud of. And it's not about us. It's not about wins and losses. It's not about me. It's about preparing our kids, not only for like life and battles and adversity, but preparing them if we have kids who want to play at the next level. We run this thing like a college program. And my goal is not only for those kids who want to go play to earn a scholarship and find a place, but to be able to step in as freshmen because of the way they've been prepared with scouts, with scheduling, with travel, with practice, with weights, with off season, with summer. So we are not going to back off of that anytime soon. That's our philosophy, and that's what we believe is right. And so we're going to stick to that.
And you might just kind of fill the folks in. I've seen a lot of things on Facebook and Twitter. You've got and with Leadership Academies, if I pronounce that correctly.
Yeah.
I know I pronounced it correctly. I just didn't know if I worded it right. But some of those things are going on at Nixa, and I don't know that that's exclusive to Nixa, but you might just tell the folks a little bit about what you've got going on with not only a girls basketball team, but your entire student athlete body.
Yeah, I'm a culture coach and always been that way. And I need a little bit of help, in doing some of that stuff. And so when John Perry took the football job, him and I became great friends instantly. And he's made me a better coach, and he's made our student body a better student body, our community. And so we started a leadership academy last year, and it was just football and basketball. And we're going to see how it grew. And this year, it was my top 10 last year, but this year I have everybody there. We've got all 25 kids in my program show up, and his football team. And there's been some soccer kids and some baseball, and Brock Blantage trying to get boys basketball involved. So it's been really good. We meet every Thursday at 6:45 a.m. and we may come home from a late trip, or we may have a game that day, and it does not matter. So next Wednesday when we get home, at 12:30 from Jeff City, those kids are going to be there at 6:45. Yesterday when it was 10 degrees in the morning, those kids were there at 6:45. And we've got some different programs we're taking them through, but it's awesome. It's been incredible. We do it during season. We do it up until graduation, and then we do a program called Two Words from Stephen Mackey, and we do that with girls basketball every Tuesday. We take 10 minutes from practice, and we go through that lesson. So I think, we hit the weight room, we hit the private lessons, we hit the tough scheduling, we hit the travel, we buy the fancy shoes. But a big part of what we were missing was that maybe mental toughness and mental health of our athletes, because nobody knows what it's like to be a teenage athlete in today's world. We don't, things were not the same way. And so we want to speak to that mental toughness and that mental capacity and that mental health of our athletes, because that component is probably just as or more important than some of the other things that we spend so much energy on. And our whole point as coaches is to prepare them for life. And our society is sometimes struggles. The future of our country and culture, what we want is to have a positive impact. And so if we start building these kids to go out and be leaders and to be contributing members of society, I want my young ladies to go be strong women, and strong women in the community, and strong women in the workforce and in the home. And so we try to prepare that now. And so it's been a really, really good thing. We have seen a dramatic influence change in our mindset in some of our kids. So it is well worth the time that it takes to do it.
You bet. Well, Coach, as always, I appreciate you're always generous with your time, and here at the Missouri Sports Network, and at Scoreboard Guy, and whatever you guys are doing. But this is a great tournament you've got going on. Starts again today in the semifinals of the consolation bracket at 4 o'clock, and get out to Nixa and taking some good basketball game. And if I wasn't quarantined, I would be there, because that may be the best hospitality room in
Yes.
Southwest Missouri.
Well, I tell you what, we are live streamed on our YouTube channel. We're live streaming all the games, not just ours. So there are people, obviously with teams around the states and out of state, there's a lot of people who can't travel. So tune in. That thing has hit 4 digits as far as number of viewers. There are several college coaches that said, hey, we can't be there because of the COVID stuff, but we're going to be watching, and several that are going to be here. So tune in. And if you guys have any questions about that, get on our social media, and our YouTube channel's on there. And you can live stream it from the comfort and warmth of your own house.
Hey, you bet. Coach Perryman, thanks so much.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate all you do for those high school athletes.
Hey, you bet. Thank you. You're listening to and watching the Missouri Sports Network at MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Presented by Central Bank of the Ozarks, Chevy Dealers of the Ozarks, Doak Propane, Shelter Insurance Agents, Grant Baker in Aurora, Sean Holman in Lockwood. Labor's Local 663, Bank of Billings, and Great Southern Bank. And keep it right here at the Missouri Sports Network.